Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Matt Camp, and this is, of course, Wrestling Daily on Bleacher Report, or maybe you're catch me on a YouTube stream or after the fact, whatever it may be. Thanks for being with me. Make sure you follow me in the places down below. It's all pretty much the same, and I put the glasses on because I need more contacts. But it's good to be with you, as always. Heading into a holiday weekend for some, and a quiet wrestling weekend, except for Collision 100, which we're going to talk about, coming off of Dynamite 300 yesterday. Speaking of yesterday, once again, I want to say thank you to a nice wrestling person. As I called him yesterday, a wrestling content boy, Tom Green. Not that Tom Green, WCW Deep Cuts, why this person rules series and so much more. And I thought, and I appreciate on this day in WWE on their socials sharing that as well. It was, I think, a conversation that I like to have. And for those that don't know, I've known Tom for quite some time, but I've never met Tom in person. And we've exchanged so many messages about wrestling and life and our families, and that was cool to actually like, hey, what's going on? And I will tell you, not that it's giving anything away, but when Tom came on and popped on my screen, we had a little technical difficulties thing. We started late, but it wasn't like it was like, hey, nice to meet you. Like it's we just, hey, dude, what's going on? And that's a guy like Tom, and I hope you go check out his stuff. I hope you enjoyed our conversation yesterday, talking about the nostalgia of pro wrestling and what he has gotten from that. And as I said to him, and he talked about how many very, very current top wrestlers across multiple major companies follow what he does, watch what he does, and posts and enjoy that. And that is the fan. That is the fan that comes out in a pro wrestler. And not every wrestler, let me make this very clear, not every wrestler can work that into who they are on screen. Some have even, poo-pooed the idea of being a fan of pro wrestling. I always liked Baron Corbin's approach of when he was in NXT and he's surrounded by all, at the time, a lot of names that had made their careers on the indies, in New Japan, in PWG. And he was like, hey, they wanted me here. That's how that worked. I'm Golden Glove boxing champion. Played in the NFL. They wanted me here. I didn't need to do any of this stuff. Now, as I talk to Tom, the man behind that, and I've done some radio shows with him and things like that, you start to hear, oh, maybe he didn't come up with it exactly the same way. Maybe he didn't do that run through the indies, but man, this guy loves this stuff and is a fan. And there's things you wouldn't necessarily have thought about that he would like, or, he told me one of my couple guys I definitely want to face right now. He put Gabe Kidd high on that list, and I think he put Will Ospreay high on that list. I don't know if any of that stuff's going to happen, but that's two very different type of opponents. By the way, if you've ever seen the now Bishop Dyer against a smaller opponent, specifically those who may be in a lucha style or a high flying style, his style and their style match up quite nicely. Didn't expect to be talking about that. Want to hear what you guys want to talk about? Hit me up in our chat rooms right now. I'd love to hear from you. Hi, Tom. I see you there. Good to be with you. Good to be with all of you right now. We will get into Dynamite from last night, just kind of looking at the highlights. And I'll tell you, maybe because I think everything just has been so good, and because it will be, one of the top matches on the show, if not the main event of the show. I don't know why, and maybe I expect it to descend into chaos regardless, and it should. But it never hit me that there should be the Texas Death Match stipulation added to Mox and Hangman. But at the same time, it's kind of what I expected the match to turn into anyway, without just maybe almost formally saying. And I realize the rules are different, and I'm not. Yes, what that match means is different than what we thought was happening coming up in now 9 days. But when it when that came to be last night, I went, oh well, of course it is now, and sure, it'll play into probably what I expect to be a raucous, fired up crowd, a fired up Hangman, a Moxley who I believe right now is as vulnerable as it gets. And even if he, has had the upper hand along with the Death Riders at times, there's not even a question that he has been chipped away at, as world champions have to deal with. The chipping away and the chipping away. And okay, he got out this time, or she made it out this time, but it was that much closer. And people start to figure out where your weaknesses are, the dividing and conquering. Sure, we've seen Pac get taken out. We've seen Wheeler get taken out. We've seen Claudio get taken out and miss time. But they tend to bounce back. But how are they coming back? How are they motivated? Does motivation change for them if at the end, next Saturday in Arlington, at the end of that day, if Jon Moxley is still not the AEW World Champion, what does it mean for the Death Riders? Does it mean anything? Will it change anything? That group was put together before the championship was violently wrestled away from Bryan Danielson last year in Washington. Does that group act the same if the king of these lands, if the man who has taken the lead in not only the Death Riders, but if you ask him in professional wrestling as a whole in AEW, does his message mean as much if it's not backed by gold? That's a big hypothetical right now, because that's all it is. Because he is backed by gold. And maybe that's why Hangman knew this match may need to go to another level.
All of Jon Moxley's matches, I know they are coming. So I will welcome them. Give me the elite. Give me all of the Death Riders. Jon Moxley, you give me everything or you give me death, and make this a Texas death match.
Oh, and the answer from Jon Moxley coming perhaps a little quicker than we anticipated, Ian.
Your life, your health, your career, all on the line, all on the table with the AEW World Championship in a Texas death match. No.
And I leave you there for right now when it comes to what will go down between Mox and Hangman. Because as you might expect, Mox was not going to have it. And neither was Hangman. So I take you back now Because really, it's not going to take much to push Mox at this point. And that is what Hangman was able to do.
Hangman Adam Page with a fork in his hand. Wheeler Yuta.
Here's the key.
Oh, now Marina slapping the taste out of the mouth of Hangman. Oh, wait, Yuta. And now Claudio Castagnoli from behind. Moxley, he left the ring. Moxley and Shafir.
Hold on! Hold on! Is that the best you've got? Is that the best you've got? Send your little neutered lapdog Claudio after me, cause bitch, I'm still standing!
Powerhouse Hobbs emerging from the crowd. Claudio Castagnoli, Kazuchika Shibata as well. The AW World Trios Champions. Castagnoli, he spotted it. And he's backing Wheeler Yuta off.
And they wouldn't do anything with that numbers advantage.
Well, watch your back, Hangman. Oh, God. Hangman, he doesn't realize it. He can't hear it over this crowd. Oh! Hangman intercepts the briefcase.
Mox, you said that I didn't have what it took for Texas Death, and you know that's a lie, right? You know that's a lie. But in case you needed a reminder that I'd do anything that it takes.
Oh, no.
Did not expect that out of the hangar. Mox obviously beside himself. Yuta wondering if he should have been there the whole time. And my goodness, where we get to go now in 9 days. 9 days away from AEW All in Texas, Arlington, Texas. A full week coming your way. And now, already added to a show with Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. We'll get to that. An unbelievable one-on-one proposition between those two. And now with the AEW World Championship on the line. As if the stakes weren't high enough. On a night where many will be trying to bring their very best. Many will be trying to walk away from that show saying they were all talking about me. I don't think these two guys care about that. They care about what it means to be fighting for a world championship, and they both know what it means to do that in a Texas death match. There is, on the AEW YouTube channel, a timeline of Hangman and Jon Moxley. And I would encourage you to go check that out. This is not the first time they have battled on pay-per-view. This is not the first time they've battled with the World Championship hanging in the balance, but it is absolutely the deepest of their rivalries over the AEW World title. What if? Because I presented the other side. The side that maybe a lot of us expect to happen. Maybe Jon Moxley does do it again. Maybe the planets aren't aligned. Maybe Hangman has one more time to get knocked down before he can get back up. And what if that happens? What if Hangman just made things worse? They would have done it anyway. Now you're giving him carte blanche. And he's saying that. I get it. He's saying that. We've seen Hangman when he gets knocked down. And something Tom and I talked about yesterday. You grow, you evolve, and something happens to you when you hit your highest highs and lowest lows. And I think that is why Hangman has connected the way he has. He has been a vulnerable, successful wrestler who we all know can be the best if you're a Hangman believer. But we also know he's not there yet. And you want to see him complete that. But we've seen him get close before and get knocked down and not get that chance at the title, not win the title. He's had a championship reign in AEW. Not a bad reign. Some great matches in there, but probably didn't go how he or many wanted it to go. That's why I say that I think this Hangman right now is the best version of Hangman. Because he's more evolved. He's weathered. He's grizzled. He's been through it up here. He's been through it in here. But what if he's got to go through a little more? From one world championship match to another, taking you back to Dynamite and taking a look at what we saw between Mina Shirakawa and Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. These highlights will not do this match justice because it was just that good. They've been in there before. There is Timeless Toni Storm watching her friend, watching also her opponent at All In Texas, try to take away one of the many championships that Mercedes Moné has.
With Mina looking for the moneymaker, but instead, Lariat caught Mina, rolling elbow strike. The champion is rocked. A second rolling elbow. And that one to the back of the head. The challenger with a ton of momentum here. Nasty round kick. That was impressive. Early up, barely a kick out, but shows that heart and toughness. Kicking out on one. Hands are caught. Wait a second, low blower. What a counter by Mercedes Moné. We are witnessing some incredible action to kick off Dynamite tonight. Moneymaker, once again, avoided. Kazuchika, Mina rolls through, steps through. Mercedes, the inside cradle, too. Mercedes does it. I love it. A successful defense of the team.
And then
the skin of the teeth of
Mercedes is going to do that. And Tony has seen enough, of course, at that point in time. First of all, I'll say it again. Highlights do not do that match justice. How good it was. And, of course, Mercedes having that kind of challenge 9-10 days before she tries to bring home the AEW Women's World Championship to go along with the host of other championships she has, including the one she successfully defended last night, the AEW TBS Championship. After the match, Mercedes would also get a nice belt shot in on Tony. So I've talked about this a few times this week. There has been this side of Mercedes that I don't think has been tapped into before, because I don't think she's been able to have a rivalry that is as much as it is the importance of what happens in the ring as is what happens between them on the microphone, and then the back and forth, and then the history between the two. This is a fully fleshed out rivalry. And a rivalry that, to me, considering we're only going to see them in the ring for the first time, you know, at such a level next weekend, I would hope there's a lot more to come between these two. But it feels like it's tapped into the showy nature of Mercedes. It's almost like she doesn't like that being questioned. Oh, you're going to show things off? You're going to show how great you are? You're going to have a presence? I'm the CEO. I am all about presence. And that's almost been a challenge in itself. There's going to be the challenge between who is the better wrestler. next Saturday in Texas. Who is the greatest champion in AEW? But all of it leading up to that is also who is that face? Who is the true star? Is it timeless Toni Storm and her bravado and ridiculousness, her charm, her magnetism, or is it Mercedes Moné, who has now made accessories of her fashion from the championships she is winning around the world? Can't live without them. You thought 2 belts Banks was a big deal? Oh, no. Pick a continent. Pick a promotion. Pick a country. She will show up. She will win. Will she do that again next week? I'm excited for that one. Quick run through here, the all-in card, because more obviously came from the show last night. We will get into Kenny and Okada, based on the main event with Okada and Ibushi. Young Bucks will now take on Swerve and Ospreay, and if we have time, we'll get to it. But we will now see, with the Young Bucks putting up their EVP status on the line, Ospreay and Swerve, if they lose, cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship for 1 year. They will not be getting any kind of EVP status. That goes away if the Young Bucks were to lose. But if Swerve and will lose, no world title shots for either man for a calendar year. The Women's Casino Gauntlet match, we know that Chris Statlander enters that number 1. And for the men, we now know that it's Mark Briscoe entering number 1. But who would enter number 2? That brings us to the 4-way between MJF, Brody King, and I'll let the crowd take it away here, Anthony Bowens and AR Fox.
Mark Briscoe, AR Fox, Brody. Oh, look at this, Brody. Oh my God, that's bad. King MJF is going out. He's choking him out. All his weight is hanging. All 4 men leaving it in the ring. Go, bomb. Oh no. 1, 2. No, Fox diving in from across the ring. And wait a second. The salt of the earth. I taught him that. The salt of the earth with the leg counter. MJF win.
And it's challenger and champion at Super
We'll come back to a little bit more of what we saw last night here in a second. MJF getting the job done, as he tends to do. He goes in at number 2. Mark Briscoe has a wonderful new t-shirt. You should go check out at shopaw.com. But once again here, for those that don't know, in the gauntlet, the match begins when 2 participants are in it. So it can end any time. This is not over the top rope, feet hitting the floor. Each competitor comes out at a different interval, but the match can end at any time. It is a pinfall. It is a submission. So the first 2, who are Mark Briscoe and MJF, you could see the salt of the earth get put on Mark Briscoe. You could see a big froggy bow put down MJF. And that all could happen before a 3rd or 4th or anybody else enters the match. So, unlike your typical, let's say, Rumble-style matches where coming out later matters more, in this, you need to be out there, because if you're not out there, you can't win. It has happened before, where not everybody has entered the gauntlet because the match is entered early. Tough shit. Some heroes and villains matches, heard a little bit of there, and we saw the Paragon of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, along with the ROH champion Bandito, taking on the Young Bucks and Bandito's challenger coming up next weekend for the ROH World Title. Konosuke Takeshita, those 2 teams would meet. A little bit of a heroes and villains match, and I'll take you back to that one right now.
Takeshita wants to leave no doubt the raging fire.
And there was Swerve and Ospreay. We know where we go from this one.
The Bucks to wager their EVP positions, and the Bucks had no interest in doing so.
I got something you might be interested in. If you guys accept this match and you beat us.
So as I said, we know where that goes from there, as we will see the EVPs, Matt and Nick Jackson, put those spots up on the line against Swerve and Ospreay. But if Swerve and Ospreay lose, they can now challenge for the AEW World title for up to 1 year. All right, let's go back to the main event, though, or let's go to the main event right now. I know a lot of people have not seen a ton of Kota Ibushi if you have only seen him in AEW, because he only had his first singles match last week or week or so ago against Trent. The fact that we are seeing Kota Ibushi take on Kazuchika Okada less than 2 weeks before Okada will take on Kenny Omega, I cannot tell you how rare it is to have those kind of matches back to back. If you look at the career of Kazuchika Okada, it is just not how his career has gone. But I digress. Shout out to Taz. Let's take a look at, oh boy, I can't believe we got this match on massive, major, worldwide television. Just think about that if you're a fan of either one of these two guys. Think of if someone said that to you 7, 8, 9 years ago, Ibushi Okada on a Wednesday night on the Superstation, baby, streaming everywhere. That happened last night. Which we will get to. Here we go. After the boys won. Here we go.
Likes the Phoenix splash from this position.
Love this camera shot, by the way.
Extremely well. Okada trying to bring Ibushi back down to earth, but
listen,
trying
Ibushi
to
does
keep his
some
weight
wild
out of it.
stuff.
Okada, the waist lock, though. And the German suplex. The double underhook on the Continental. Oh! Here we go. Finish it, finish it, finish it. Rainmaker! Good night. The Don Callis family into the ring to celebrate. Kazuchika Okada puts his Continental
See,
on the line.
Kazuchika Okada has Kenny Omega, but so does Kota Ibushi, because they are the Golden Lovers.
Kenny's here. Wow. Didn't know who came in. Exploding on the scene. The fans are on their feet. They are on their feet, and look at this. Like, the family trying to use their numbers. Gotta be careful, Kenny. A lot of numbers out here.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's Trent. Yep. Got that baton. Wait a minute. Ibushi disarms Trent, and now Omega.
Watch the fun stuff these guys can do.
Omega and Ibushi taking out Beretta. Kenny Omega was
There you go, everybody. That is how Dynamite 300 came to a close. A really fun episode. Once again, the idea that match is just, it's go do a little homework if you can. Dennis, glad to see Ibushi. Yes, he is looking good. He missed a lot of time with injury. That what he was dealing with, not only, I think the ankle and things like that, but just a career. And if you saw the GIF I put up to promote the show today, Ibushi on a bicycle flying into a pond in a wrestling match. You might hear that for the first time and go, who the hell is this guy? And other people go, why didn't you tell him about the fireworks? And to that I say, the fireworks I would be watching this weekend, I'll just say Kota Ibushi was involved. Go look for that. Go look for that. Have a little fun with that on the weekend. But here's the thing. There's more weekend fun to be had, because we have Collision coming your way. We're going to see Willow in action. We're going to see story time with Adam Cole. But this one has gotten, it's not even fun and games anymore. The Outrunners have been living in 4x3. Youngest men alive. I think all that stuff's out the window. guys they used to look up to, guys that they used to train with. FTR has taken on a whole new view of where they are in AEW as the most winningest tag team of all time with Stokely by their side. They don't want teams like the Outrunners around. We'll go back, come back to the ladies in a second there, as we have a loaded card that is so loaded it's just flying by at a speed that I would love to keep up with. It happens, folks. Sometimes it goes by a little fast. The women, the All-Star 8-woman tag. Very interesting teammates here. TJ, of course, we know all about them, along with Queen Aminata and Thunder Rosa, taking on the ROH Women's Champion, Athena, who will be challenged by Thunder Rosa next weekend in Texas. Thekla, who has had some issues with Queen Aminata. And then, of course, Megan Bayne and Julia Hart. That team on the right is, if they're on the same page, as a mean-ass team. Mystico, Hologram, and Mark Briscoe taking on Roppongi Vice and Hechicero from the Don Callis family. Man, that's a Collision all-star team right there. Mystico, Hologram, and Mark Briscoe. And Kyle Fletcher and Daniel Garcia. A man who wants the TNT title and a man who wants the TNT title back. I'll be back with you. Programming note next week. We'll be back with you on Monday, but I'll be coming to you at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday next week. So not 3 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. You can always catch the show after the fact on YouTube. Hit me up, of course, down below. Follow along to see what I'm up to. Enjoy a Collision this weekend. Sound like Bret Hart. The Collision. Enjoy the Collision this weekend. Oh, and happy belated birthday to Bret Hart. Yes. And happy Canada Day. Belated as well. I'm Matt Camp. This has been Wrestling Daily. And I'll be back on Monday to talk about wrestling